Since The Revenant was filmed using nothing but natural light, I decided to go ahead and conserve some electricity and do the same thing for this review. Not that I'm gonna need the ceiling light for this because it's fucking bright as shit outside. Also, the candlelight kind of makes it look like I'm telling a scary story. I should do this for my October reviews. As I may have just hinted in the intro, the film that I'm going to be reviewing for this video is called The Revenant, and this film follows a man during the 1800s who is with a group of people hunting for pelts when some bad things happen, leading to him being left for dead and his son being murdered, so he makes it his mission to find the man responsible for this. Aside from The Green Inferno, The Revenant is one of the most violent films that I've seen come out of 2015. However, the main difference between this and The Green Inferno is that I actually gave a shit while watching The Revenant. Also, the violence in this just feels very real. You can almost feel every single cut, hit, and stab as you're watching it. And as you may have guessed from the synopsis that I just gave, this isn't the happiest movie that you're gonna see. There are a lot of terrible and unfair things that happen in this, aside from the things that I just mentioned in the synopsis. Don't go into this expecting a straightforward revenge thriller either, because throughout most of the running time, this is really more of just a survival story, and it's more about man versus nature than versus man. Just a good chunk of the movie is spent seeing Leonardo DiCaprio's main character just surviving the elements and trying to make it back home so that he can find the guy who killed his son. And don't let me sell you short on this movie either, because it is very riveting to watch. DiCaprio himself gives a great performance in this film, as always. He does make a very interesting leading man to watch throughout, and without a doubt, the scene that I commend him for the most in this movie is the bear attack scene. It's one of the most painful and violent scenes that I've seen in a film recently, and I don't think it would have been nearly as effective were it not for his acting ability. And do I really need to clarify at this point that he is not actually raped by a bear? Considering that when you watch the movie, it's clearly a mama bear, the event of a rape happening is just a tad bit implausible. Also, I'd like to touch on Oscars real fast. A lot of people are saying that Leonardo DiCaprio should get nominated for this, and honestly, I just don't give a shit. I mean, if he does want to win an Oscar, then that would be cool. Good for him if he does, but at the same time, if he walks home empty handed, then I'm still gonna know that he's a good actor. Also, Tom Hardy does an effective job playing the villain in this movie. He's the one who leaves the main character for dead and kills his son and everything, and he is just completely unlikable and abrasive, yet at the same time, as much as I hated him and as much as I wanted him to receive his comeuppance, I do like how they added some history to the character and they gave him a motivation for some of the things that he did. It didn't feel like he was just being a dick for the sake of being a dick. I like the way that this movie was shot too. I've already mentioned the fact that it's done using all natural light, which was a pretty ballsy move on the director's part. And there are certain shots in this movie where the camera just goes on filming for just seconds, over a minute on end, and it never cuts away. That was pretty interesting, although at the same time, I'm pretty sure they were using a wide angle lens for some of those shots, so whenever it was moving around very quickly, it was almost kind of nauseating to watch. And there were even a few shots in the movie where some dirt or something would get on the camera. There was also a point where water was dripping on the camera lens, and it didn't cut away, and I kind of liked that. It felt a little more immersive. In conclusion, I thought The Revenant was very well worth the hype. It was well acted, well shot, well written, and it does come highly recommended. Anyway, there's not much else to say about this movie, so I hope y'all have a good one.